Been a long time, but better than never. Hello everybody and welcome back to Mobile Games. It's been a decent month this April. Believe it or not, one of the most promising months for offline games. If you're planning a trip or just prefer your games with no phone data or internet, here's 20 huge single-player and offline mobile games of April 2024 to pick up on your Android and iOS. First things first, Crime Scene Evidence Cleaner is now finally on Android and it's free as well. The mobile equivalent and redone version of the original PC game was handed to a small developer and is now sitting on the Play Store with a 4 out of 5 rating, so it's close to 10,000 downloads since just days ago. The premise is you work for the Mafia, for those of you new, and after you get a call, have to make a home call and clean up as hard as you can to hide the evidence. It's a good game. Coming in at seconds, we've got something here called Empty Space. It's one of the surprise reveals of the week, considering it's the only work of its developers. Empty Space is an action-adventure game in pace about this young man who's dealing with fear in his own head. He has to save his family members from a fire, but the fear comes in the shape of these monsters. Anyway, besides the awesome premise, the game has a super fine look and could definitely get more love. Killperians finally came up with their sequel to Witch Cry they released last year. I mean, it's not really a horror game, so to speak, but a thrilling puzzle adventure that comes with a decent story to continue the first one. Not only that, but you can play in different difficulty modes for a bit of extra spice. Now, the Red Hood, Witch Cry 2, has actually a more engaging story in the first entry, and the whole thing will probably take you like a half an hour to finish, but it's a good thing. Oh yeah, throughout 2024, we actually had a good few motor racing games, but I don't think I've seen anything remotely close to Pro Motor over here, as in for pace. Not only this game offers over 100 different bikes to unlock, but it offers one of the most thrilling paces for a racing game that at times it actually feels like a piece of cinematic. Unfortunately, Pro Motor is only on Android, not coming to iOS as a free game, however, and takes you a whopping 1 GB of storage. With almost 5 million downloads since just days ago, Supermarket Manager Sim is on both the Google and the App Store and comes in 2 versions. One is an ad-free that you have to purchase once, and the other one comes with ads, but you could play either one with no Wi-Fi. So I don't know what's the point. In this game, basically you play as a market manager and finish store tasks from top to bottom. Taking orders, fixing bags, managing the shelves, and hopefully getting a bigger place with more advanced machines. It's a good one. The BAFTA-nominated mobile game Monsters Ate My Condo just actually made it over to mobiles, it's a remade version of the original puzzle game now on Android, iOS, and even Apple Arcade for players. It's like a color matching game, you probably know this if you haven't played its original on PCs, that actually blends the old child's game formula with the fast-paced gameplay to make it worth the time. Monsters Ate My Condo is a free game, it plays offline and takes you no more than 120 megabytes in total. Coming in at number 7, we have Drive Division. Now, truth be told, Drive Division is no better than any Asphalt game in quality, but it's definitely one of the good new competitors. The drifting physics of this game is just out of the world. It plays offline and since last week, it's downloaded close to 50,000 times with a 5 out of 5 rating on both stores. It's totally offline, but for extra content you have to pay. Extra content such as map, exclusive cars. Drive Division is also about 1.3 gigabytes in total. Not only we had Farming Sim 2024, but we also just got the Grau version of it going by Farming Sim Brasil 2024. Firstly, it's gotta be one of the finest farming sim games we had hands on within the year. Not only because it has decent graphics, but because you can actually ride horses too in an open world. It comes in both first and third person views, and the rest is history. You farm, raise, build, and sell to buy more. Farming Sim Brasil is a free game in nature and takes you no more than 200 megabytes in total. Speaking of offline play, when it comes down to fighting games, there's like only just a handful of fighting games that let you go all the way offline. Battle of Guardians is right now one of the good few that actually has been out for a few months, and the reason that it's in the list today is it's actually from an indie developer, and ever since reveal, they're working really hard to make it better. It now has a graphical option, 3 modes to play, and also controller support. Moving on to number 10, and our honorable mention of the day, we have a game called Afterimage, sitting on both stores since a few days ago with a literal 5 out of 5 rating. Afterimage is actually a $5 mobile game, not free, but plays offline and with a controller too. If you've already played the PC version of it, you definitely know the trail, but if you haven't, it's a Metroidvania role-playing game with one of the biggest maps this genre has ever offered. Very enjoyable to play. It takes 1.5 gigabytes of storage. Oh yeah, Zombie Fire 3D just received another update this week, and ever since, the game is offline entirely for those of you with no Wi-Fi. Now this bad boy over here used to be one of the finest zombie shooting first-person shooters on the Play Store. Now it's the best. It offers super fine mechanics and really good graphics for just 300 megabytes of storage. Additionally, there's a huge pool of guns, unlockables, and all kinds of zombies and bosses to blast along the way. 20 out of 10, it's a missing gem amongst mobile games. Moving on to number 12, we have Polygons FPS. Please excuse the trailer. I didn't have time to record this myself, but it's an indie developer's first work, and we believe one of the finest FPS mobile games we had hands on for months. It's a Counter-Strike style classic, but made with low poly graphics, modern characters and setting. Additionally, also inspired by Apex Legends and Valorant, but then it plays offline too. 10 out of 10, the whole thing's just 200 megabytes in total, it's a gem.
But within it, somewhere between sugary clouds and chocolate valleys, nestled amidst the whimsical factory of Jaffa's sweet creations.
If you were fond of platform games and you had a moment of fun playing any SpongeBob games, I think you're also gonna like this one. Legends of Jaffa or Jaffa Brownie is only downloaded 1,000 times, sitting on the Play Store with a 5 rating, and you can definitely tell it's an action adventure. In this game, you play as a brownie boy on a journey to find the factory that made him and eventually uncover the truth about his existence. Does that sound fun? It's a free game you can open right now and also use a controller. I've included tiny robots we charged in other lists, but if you missed it, this one over here is escape room style puzzle single player that has hints of other quality games such as the Room series. It's playable offline, but you need Play Pass to be able to give it a go offline. So, I don't know, if you do like, I recommend this for those of you obsessed with box puzzles and how you just have to guess everything out of nothing with no story and 100% just puzzles. 10 out of 10, it's a really good game.
Nice to see you again.
With over 10 million downloads and still a 4.7 rating on both platforms, Skyforce Reloaded is now finally playable offline on the stores. Developers released another batch of content to keep it going. This is an arcade-style Bulletstorm top-down shooting classic that works either way, offline or with Wi-Fi and controller support. I still give it a shot from time to time whenever I need to shift in gear. It's definitely one of the most addicting games I've ever played. Coming in at number 16, we've got over here the most downloaded game on the list. Not a new one by any means, but a 6-year-old on mobiles, 11-year-old on PCs, Minecraft-looking tactical battle royale shooter that's just constantly getting updates ever since its release. There's like 1,000 different updates so far, and the last one was just a few days ago. If you like classic first-person shooters like the old Doom, Pixel Gun over here is the it. That's right, forget Indian Truck Sim, Truck Sim USA or even Bus Sim, because we have Truck Sim 2024 Europe, which is on the top of the charts with a 5 out of 5 rating and close to 50,000 downloads on the Play Store. Now this thing over here is definitely one of the most realistic and fine physics truck driving games of 2024. It's no different than a PC game in overall quality. What's even better is that it plays offline and has a near infinite amount of missions to keep you busy. Motor Rider is another pro bike racing game dropped this April, and would also like to give it a heads up if you want just more of the same. It's so far downloaded near to 30,000 times since last week, and has a 4.7 out of 5 rating too, which as far as racing games go, it's a pretty good indication. It's a stunt GT racing motorcycle sim game with a fairly smooth gameplay and really good graphics. All things no more than 300 megabytes in total, and plays entirely offline as well. If you've been around mobile gaming long enough to know there's some actual good rushing games out there, well, you're in luck, cause Return to Village is one of the recent ones we've discovered that is legit a good game. It's an open world village life sim, but your actions are just limited to tuning and customizing cars and bikes in a plain old Russian countryside, and have a blast with car physics. 9 out of 10, honestly I would give it an 11 out of 10 if it wasn't halfway Russian. It's only 250 megabytes and it's free. And last but not least, we've got Theotown. Theotown, for those of you who know, is a city building adventure, but basically blends merge game elements and the best of games such as Town Scraper, Skyline City, City Skylines, and SimCity as its premise. You can go ahead and start playing this one as long as you're fond of the pixel art, and offline or online, no different in experience. Your job in this game consists of saving and spending energy, ensuring your citizens' safety, and also the city, and expand it as much as you can. It's a free one, so less than 100 megabytes in total as well.